For a number of years, the highways in the commercial center of downtown Cairo have been clogged with advertisements that promise a brand new way of life. Consequently, many who have the financial means to do so romanticize the idea of leaving the crowded center of Cairo for a fresh beginning 50 kilometers outside of the city. Now, welcome to the new Cairo. The people behind the project believe that it marks the beginning of a new city, a new way of life, a new neighborhood, and a new location in the center of attention on the international stage. So, what do you think we're talking about? Egypt's huge new administrative capital is being built to the east of Cairo on a desert expanse the size of Singapore, where the building of the city first began. As for Cairo, the state of the nation's capital is so poor at the present time that it can hardly perform its normal tasks. The government buildings and embassies that surround Tahrir Square contribute to the congestion that may be found on the city's major thoroughfares. In addition, it's anticipated that by the year 2050, the metropolitan area's present population of 22 million people will have increased by a factor of 4, leading to an increase in traffic congestion. But what is the main reason for relocating to Cairo? Well, take into account the presence of over 6.5 million people, as well as of embassies, government buildings, the parliament, 30 ministries, and a gigantic presidential palace. Nevertheless, a green river will run through the middle of the new capital, and it'll be almost twice as large as Central Park in New York City. It will have both artificially produced plants and natural water, and it will be known as the Green River. Let's say the program is being promoted as a means of lowering pollution levels and making Egypt a greener country. However, if you look a little further, and more importantly if you follow the money, it will become clear that this project is much more than just the government's attempt to reduce traffic in Cairo and improve living conditions for those who live there. But how far has it come? The Cathedral of the Nativity is well known for being the largest cathedral in the Middle East and the first edifice in the city that's open to the public. It opened in 2019 and is now in use. This historically significant landmark has continued to lend credence to the dictatorship story that it's the defender of the Christian minority against the danger presented by the Muslim Brotherhood. Despite being out of proportion to the political situation, the ambitions of the new capital are compatible with the idealized picture of Egypt as a country of pyramids and pharaohs. And by the way, guess what? It's been 6 years since the construction site was initially opened, and since then, the overall cost of the project has climbed from the initial estimate of $58 billion. This represents more than 45% of Egypt's total external debt by the time the fiscal year came to a close in 2021. Currently, nearly all of the work on the first of the 3 phases of development, which has required expenditures totaling more than $20 billion, and the construction of structures spanning 16,800 hectares has been completed. However, when all that's shown are clusters of districts grouped along huge symmetrical axes, it's still difficult to get a good idea of the wider picture. However, the relocation of a few hundred ministries has already begun, and in the next months, the first residential lots will be delivered to the new residents. And now, you might be wondering, what then is the state of the nation in relation to the city? It's a mirage city that does not have a name and does not currently have an actual location on Google Maps. However, it may be expected that the government, as part of their bigger agenda, will be the one to determine the pace. By 2020, the country that holds the current position of 3rd most populous in Africa will have successfully crossed the threshold of 100 million people. According to statistics that were made public by the French Treasury in 2021, the country is expanding at an astoundingly rapid rate, adding 1 million new residents every 6 months. The Nile Valley regions, which make up only 7% of the country's overall geographical area, are responsible for 95% of the rise in population. And because 1/3 of Egyptians live below the national poverty line and 800,000 young people enter the labor field every year, it's equally crucial to find houses for them as it is to find jobs for them. So what do the citizens think about the new capital? A historian by the name of Tufik Aklimandos believes that some people consider the move to the new capital as Sisi's moment of genius. Because public land is sold to pay for construction, Akli Mandos, who's the head of research at the Egyptian Center for Strategic Studies, claims that the program stimulates economic growth and lowers unemployment rates without having any adverse effects on the political system. This is because public land is sold to pay for construction. But wait a minute, what will be the most outstanding feature of the city? This new data-driven ideology of urban planning is disguised by a high-tech catechism of language that makes use of cutting-edge technology. Some of the steps involved in making the environment more resilient include gathering real-time data, aggregating that data, and employing algorithms to analyze that data in order to learn from user behavior. And as a direct result of this, Orange Business Cloud has been tasked with the development of a cloud center that will act as the nerve center for managing civil service operations. It would appear that in the future, all buildings would only use the amount of energy that they're able to produce once solar panels, wind turbines, and electrical regulators have been installed. So, what's the outlook about the new capital? One thing is for sure, and that is that anything having to do with this city will definitely be handled with the utmost care. Anyway, what are your thoughts about the new administrative capital? Is it worth $45 billion?